Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the land of Israel, thousands of years ago, lived King Solomon. King Solomon was a very wise king, very powerful, and what's more, he was very rich. His treasury was filled with gold and silver and the rarest of gems and jewels. But King Solomon did not have one thing. He was not a happy king. He was always in distress and he was looking for mental peace and happiness. So one day, King Solomon went to bed and woke up in the morning with a smile on his lips because he had the perfect dream. In his dream, he had dreamt of a ring, the ring which carried the magic mantra for his happiness. So he quickly called all the wise men from the far corners of his kingdom, wise men and women. And once they were gathered, he told them about his dream and asked them to go in search of this perfect ring with the mantra. So the wise men did as they were told. They visited the shops in Jerusalem, the jewelers, the jewelry shop, and everywhere they searched high and low, they could not find this ring. Finally, they reached the port of Haifa and they boarded the ship and traveled to distant ports and lands. They went to Crete, they went to Athens, they traveled to Cyprus, Egypt, Turkey, Damascus, and everywhere they went, they drew a blank. They couldn't find the magic ring. So at the end of 6 months, they returned to the kingdom. And when King Solomon asked them whether they had found the ring, all they had to say was, "Not yet, Your Majesty, not yet." It was the eve of the festival of Sukkot, when one of the wise men, the youngest of them, decided to try his luck one last time. He went to the markets of Jerusalem. He went to the poorest section of the city, and there he came upon a jeweler who had laid out his jewels and trinkets on a tray. And the young wise man asked the jeweler, who was pretty old, asked him whether he knew about this ring with the perfect mantra. Now he was a very old jeweler. He was a little thoughtful for some time and he went inside the house and he came out with a gold band and then took his carving tool and inscribed something on the underside of the ring and handed it over to the wise young man. When the young man took the ring and looked at the inscription, which was written in Hebrew, a smile broke upon his face. This was the perfect ring. This was the answer to King Solomon's problems. He rushed to the palace. It was early in the morning, and all the wise men were gathered as it was the feast day of Sukkot. And King Solomon one last time asked his wise men, "Well, did you find the ring with the mantra?" And they all chorused and said, "Yes, Your Majesty, we have." And the youngest of the wise men handed over the ring to King Solomon. King Solomon held it in his hand and he read the inscription, which was written in Hebrew, and when translated, it read, "This too shall pass." Oh, this was the perfect answer to his peace, what he had been looking for, mental peace. King Solomon realized that all his joys turned to sorrows and all the sorrows turned to joy, and in that he found his peace. King Solomon realized that all his riches, his prosperity was all temporary. The joy was temporary, and his sorrows would not last long, and they would change as the seasons and the years. And every time King Solomon had a difficult situation, just like how we are facing today, he would look at his ring, and the ring would read, "This too shall pass." So, friends, just like King Solomon, look at your rings. You might want to inscribe under it or write on a piece of paper, TTSP. This too shall pass. So take care, stay safe, and have a great evening.